The final 12 and a half hours of PNB Rock.
On September 12, 2022, at 12:28 p.m., PNB Rock walked into a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in South Los Angeles for a quiet lunch with his fiancée Stephanie. By 1:23 p.m., he was lying in a pool of his own blood with his life cut short in a robbery that had gone horribly wrong. The deadly attack was carried out by a father and son duo, with the youngest, a 17-year-old, being the one who pulled the trigger.
Damn. She was 17? Good God.
CCTV footage from moments prior shows PNB Rock dapping up what appeared to be a fan, leaving the questions: was this a random robbery, or was PNB Rock set up from the start?
You don't want, unless you're gonna move around with security, and you don't want to have to do that shit every time you go out.
100%.
Feel me? Like, that shit be ass, bro.
People are targets out here, right? Especially.
Niggas try me out here a couple times, you feel me? Like, I ain't gonna lie. That shit don't never work. You feel me? I be too on point. Like, I'm from the same shit y'all trying to do. I done did this shit, you feel me? Like, I done.
You're ready for that kind of.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I be on it. You and I. Wait, hold up. You already know how to take care of this shit, man.
Today, every business needs a website. Unless this is what your business looks like.
What should have been an ordinary meal at one of LA's most iconic mom-and-pop restaurants turned into a nightmare as his fiancée watched helplessly during the tragic final moments of his life. At the time, PNB Rock, or Rakeem Allen, was just 30 years old. As the details of that afternoon came to light, they revealed a tragic chain of events, a story of greed and violence. And unfortunately, the violence PNB encountered that day wasn't all that new to him. When he was just 3 years old, his life was forever changed when his father was murdered in the midst of a gang dispute. And then again, his life was forever changed when his father was murdered in the midst of a gang dispute. And then again, years later, he lost his older brother to the streets as well, leaving his mother to raise him and his other siblings alone. Growing up in poverty, he often found himself in trouble. He drifted toward the streets, searching for a sense of belonging that his broken home life couldn't provide.
My life before music, typically it was just like, I had 4 brothers, single parent. It was kind of rough, you know, we was like running around house to house, living from shelter to shelter, you know, it was like, we had a card coming up, I would say, you feel me? I was like not making it easy for my mom, you know, I made it hard for her because I was like kind of like a bad kid, I would say. Just doing whatever I wanted to. I ain't really had nobody like to give me like no guidance, like a father figure, or nobody just like to keep me tame.
At 13 years old, he was sent to a youth detention program for fighting and committing a string of robberies. By 19, he was sentenced to 33 detention program for fighting and committing a string of robberies. By 19, he was sentenced to 33 months in prison for drug possession and other crimes. After his release, he
Is insane. I don't care. 13 is insane. And 19 since 33 months. God, I can't imagine. So I'm 19 now. Like,
sentenced to 33 months in prison for drug possession and other crimes. After his release, he experienced homelessness and never got to complete high school. Despite these hardships, he found peace in making music, and he was good at it.
She follow me on Instagram. She say that she my biggest fan.
He adopted the stage name PNB.
She my biggest fan.
He adopted the stage name PNB Rock, honoring the intersection of Pistorius and Bainton, the name of streets near where he was raised.
PNB come from my block, Pistorius and Bainton. You feel me? That's a block in Germantown. That's Philly. You know, everybody know PNB.
Needless to say, he had been making chart-topping music for almost a decade prior to his untimely passing. And considering his life before music, it's no secret that PNB Rock, like many others, liked to indulge in a lavish lifestyle. This of course included diamond-studded jewelry, and a lot of it. The very thing that would make him a target and ultimately get him killed. He and his fiancee were in Los Angeles for business as well as personal celebrations, including an engagement party for fellow rapper T Grizzly, where just 12 hours prior to the robbery, they were on social media showing off their watches.
Come on, man. AP's rollies.
Can I do to make you?
Oh, he's here demise.
Come on, man. AP's rollies.
Can I do to make you see?
You gotta be careful what you post.
On the following morning of September 12, 2022, it was supposed to be a relaxing day. They decided to stop by Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, more specifically the one in South Los Angeles, for lunch. Roscoe's is well known and loved in the community, but it's far from a luxurious place where one might be able to put their guard down. In fact, it's the opposite. Before leaving, as well as on their drive there, Stephanie urged him to take some of his jewelry off, stating that it was too flashy. He denied her request and simply stated, "It's in God's hands." PNB and Stephanie arrived at Roscoe's at around 12:28 p.m. He was dressed down but wearing nearly $500,000 in jewelry, including diamond-studded chains, rings, and watches.
Out in public, just go get breakfast.
He arrived at Roscoe's at around 12:28 p.m. He was dressed down but wearing nearly $500,000 in jewelry, including diamond-studded chains, rings, and watches.
Hey, you earned that money. Like, do what you want. You earned it, bro. Come on, bro. If you want to go out wearing like 500 grand worth of jewelry, like, you go ahead. Like, you just gotta be careful when it comes to that.
No security or friends, just the two of them and a small handgun he had tucked in his jeans. Surveillance footage showed them walking into the restaurant with Stephanie smiling as they were greeted by the waiter. Shortly after entering, a man nearby is seen fist-bumping PNB Rock after recognizing him. And unknowing at the time, but this was the exact moment that his fate was sealed. But to their knowledge, the day was just going as planned. The couple was soon escorted to their table and quickly seated. While enjoying their meal, the couple was soon escorted. Fate was sealed, recognizing him. And unknowing at the time, but this was the
Is this guy? I know it was a 17-year-old that like pulled the trigger. You know what they said? This is the father, I think.
exact moment that his fate was sealed. But to their knowledge, the day was just going as planned. The couple was soon escorted to their table and quickly seated. While enjoying their meal, Stephanie would post a picture on Instagram, geotagging the location. A now infamous
Yeah, I remember. I remember this ETA. With a name like that, you can't be doing that. Wait till afterwards to post that stuff. Wait till after. Just like take pictures, save it to your camera roll.
photo that would cause a lot of controversy. Outside the restaurant though, everything was far from normal. In the parking lot, footage shows a man in a red t-shirt making plans. His name is Tremont Jones. Tremont was known by the Roscoe's employees as a loiterer. He would often spend hours at the restaurant just hanging out. And he just so happens to be the same guy who dapped PNB Rock up when he first entered. Just minutes later, he's seen outside calling another and even more dangerous man named Freddie Trone, a man with a vast criminal past. Within minutes, Freddie arrived at the scene, and together the two began plotting while PNB and Stephanie were inside eating. After talking for a few minutes and coming up with a plan, Freddie then left. But not for long, and he would return, this time with his 17-year-old son as well. The teenager, dressed in a bright purple Fruity Pebbles t-shirt and a full face covering, was ready to carry out the plan given to him. Freddie dropped his son off close by to where he walks on foot straight towards Roscoe's, even passing Tremont outside. At 1:16 p.m., the teenager walked into the restaurant, gun in hand. He brushed past the customers and staff, heading straight toward PNB Rock and Stephanie's table. He ups his gun and he says, "Give me all that shit or I'm gonna shoot you right now."
He pointed the gun at his stomach and said, "Give me all that or I'll shoot you right now." And he just started shooting him.
It was quick and brief, and before PNB could reason,
Yeah. And he just started
"Shoot you right now."
Don't even give him a chance to respond. Give him a chance to respond. I know with X, X, I think he was like they gave him a chance to like respond, but he started fighting back, and then that's when he shot her. Really? Oh, this kid even give PNB a chance?
He pointed the gun at his stomach. He said, "Give me all that or I'll shoot you right now." And he just started shooting him.
It was quick and brief, and before PNB could reason or even react, he fired 3 shots point blank into his chest. Screams erupted as Gavin.
And he just started shooting him.
It was quick and brief, and before PNB could reason or even react, he fired 3 shots point blank into his chest. Screams erupted as guests and others ducked for cover and fled the scene.
Wix. One platform, any website. Unlimited creation.
While he laid on the floor gasping for air, the gunman proceeded to take all of his rings off his fingers, his necklaces, and 2 watches. He then pointed the gun towards Stephanie, who was frantic, and told her to take off her watch, swearing to God he'd shoot her in the head if she didn't, to which she handed it over before he ran out the door. His dad, Freddie Trone, was outside in the getaway car ready to take off. Roscoe's staff and bystanders immediately called for help. At 1:22 p.m., LAPD officers arrived on the scene. They attempted to save PNB, who was still breathing but losing blood rapidly.
Jesus Christ.
Immediately called for help. At 1:22 p.m., LAPD officers arrived on the scene. They attempted to save PNB, who was still breathing but losing blood rapidly. Stephanie, frantic and traumatized, stood in the doorway as she watched paramedics load PNB into an ambulance. The rapper was rushed to a nearby hospital, but at 1:59 p.m., he was pronounced dead at just 30 years old. Fans gathered in his community, playing his music and holding their own ceremony. Meanwhile, in LA, the investigation into the murder began almost immediately after the shooting. Here's how they solved it. Surveillance footage from Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles and surrounding businesses provided crucial evidence right away. Detectives focused on identifying the masked gunman and tracing his movements. The footage revealed the suspect fleeing the scene in a getaway car, later identified as a black Buick Enclave, registered to a woman named Chantel Trone. We now know Chantel is the wife of Freddie and the mother of the teenage gunman. This, of course, was a major turn, and it confirmed that the robbery was in fact not random, but orchestrated after the fist bump. Further investigation revealed their efforts to cover up the crime. Just minutes after the robbery, Freddie and his son were seen walking nearby their apartment, already in different clothes. Then the shooter is seen dumping a trash bag into the dumpster, a bag we can assume had a weapon or bloody whereabouts in. Meanwhile, Freddie woke up the following morning at the break of dawn. He drives the getaway Cadillac around the corner and proceeds to light it on fire in an attempt to destroy all the evidence before he walks back home. Detectives linked all the suspects through phone records, surveillance video, and eyewitness accounts. It didn't take long for arrests to be made of his son and his wife Chantel. But in the days following the murder, Freddie Trone left his family, who was now arrested, and went into hiding. He fled the Los Angeles area with his side chick named Weisha Evans, prompting authorities to issue a public alert for his apprehension. They were eventually caught in Las Vegas, and now Weisha also faced charges for helping him flee. LAPD interrogated Freddie while he denied everything, and he even tried to throw his son under the bus.
If y'all figured this guy, my son did it, why he ain't hurt?
You're in here for murder.
But ultimately, the evidence was abundant, and now 5 people were involved. Freddie was eventually convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 31 years to life in prison. His son, who was identified as the gunman, faced similar charges but was tried as a juvenile. He remains in juvenile custody to this day. Chantel Trone, Freddie's wife, was charged as an accessory after the fact, and Weisha Evans, his side chick, was accused of aiding Freddie in fleeing to Las Vegas after the crime. Chantel pleaded no contest to accessory charges, while Weisha accepted a plea deal for her involvement. Last but not least, Tremont Jones, the man who fist-bumped PNB Rock and essentially started this whole thing, was found guilty on second-degree robbery and conspiracy to commit robbery. Immediately after the news of his death hit social media, his fiancée Stephanie faced a world of online backlash. Many blamed her for the incident, pointing to the Instagram post she shared that tagged their exact location shortly before.
I want to say it would be 100% her fault. From what I've seen on this video, it wasn't like her fault. Like, there was that one dude who fist bumped them before anything was even posted. So I want to say that's her fault. because it seemed orchestrated between that family, those guys together. Seemed like it started at the guy who fist bumped and then yeah.
Social media, his fiancée Stephanie faced a world of online backlash. Many blamed her for the incident, pointing to the Instagram post she shared that tagged their exact location shortly.
You shouldn't be doing that while you're at the restaurant. Sure. Shouldn't be like posting your exact location until like afterward. But I wouldn't say it's her fault that the shooting happened. I think it was a possibility that something could have happened, but it was not her fault. From what I'm saying, because it probably was going to happen regardless from the moment as that fist bump happened, and he alerted the other guys.
Before the shooting. This led to widespread speculation that her post was the reason the robbers knew their whereabouts. For example, Kodak Black publicly accused her, stating, "That hoe might as well kill herself," before later apologizing. Similarly, the LA police chief Michael Moore also herself before. For example, Kodak Black publicly accused her, stating, "That hoe might as well kill herself," before later apologizing. Similarly, stating, "That hoe might as well kill herself," before later apologizing. Similarly, the LA police chief Michael Moore also initially suggested that PNB Rock was targeted due to a social media activity. However, the investigation confirmed that the robbery was premeditated and had no connection to her social media. They were simply targeted after Tremont spotted his jewelry at the scene. Needless to say, the incident did highlight an issue within the hip-hop community. For many rappers, displaying their success through extravagant jewelry, luxury cars, and designer clothes is both a celebration of their achievements and a way to inspire their fans. However, these symbols of status often make them prime targets for opportunistic criminals. A similar story, such as the killing of Pop Smoke in 2020, is a prime example of this.
Yeah, he like posted his address on social media, like accidentally. And if you're not getting to his place in Bulldog.
A similar story, such as the killing of Pop Smoke in 2020, is a prime example of this. PNB Rock himself had spoken about these dangers just weeks before his death. In an interview with DJ Academics, he described a previous encounter in Los Angeles where he was targeted for a robbery. He spoke about the importance of being cautious and alert, but also expressed his belief that he didn't need security due to his street smarts.
Like, bro, like, you ain't got no security and none of that shit. And it's like, bro, I got security, but I don't got security, you feel me? Like, I be on my shit too, you feel me? So I be on angles. I'm already watching everything that's going on, so it's gonna be kind of hard for you to give it because I used to do the same shit.
Sadly, his confidence in this was not enough to protect him. His mother spoke publicly about the devastating loss of her son, describing him as a shining light for their family and a role model for the younger generations. To this day, his music continues to inspire millions, yet the circumstances surrounding his final moments serve as a heartbreaking example of how not to move when you're a high-profile figure. The murder weapon, as well as PNB Rock's $500,000 worth of jewelry, were never found.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a jewelry on that one time. Like just going out to breakfast. Like that's again, you made the money, do as you will. Just be aware of you know what the risks are going out in public with as much on you as you do. Like you want jewelry you do.
I used to always knew I was gonna be rich, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I used to always know I'm gonna be rich, but I used to be trying to figure out all these different ways to get rich. And I used to really just want to tell myself, bro, just relax. It's gonna come. You feel me? Like, just play your part, how you doing it. But just don't be trying to find every dollar. You don't gotta jump on every dollar, bro. You feel me? Like, I was out there doing crazy stuff to get money. You feel me?
Think of all the horrendous teams and franchises.
Yeah. I want to say it's his girlfriend's fault because of the social media post seems like once PNB walked in and fist bumped the guy, that's when he was he orchestrated it. But I don't say it's girlfriend's going on. But you shouldn't be going out. You shouldn't be going out in public with that much jewelry on you. And um, don't be posting your location on social media, especially when you have a name like PNB Arcade. Shouldn't be moving like that. You want to have a good night? Stay safe. Be careful. You have a good night.